Salutations. How y'all doing? I had a video of a product I was going to unbox for you guys. I did the unboxing video, and things happened, and that video got deleted. So I've kind of changed the way I'm going to do this particular video. It was going to be an unboxing, but seeing how I've already done that and I've lost the footage, we're going to go on to what the real reason I did. Now, most of you know, I got the Pixel. This is the Pixel XL. Good little phone. Battery, kind of trashy. But other than that, not a bad phone, especially for the prices you can get them now. And I told you when I bought that you should get yourself one of these. This is a holder for it with a battery in it. This makes a world of difference. When I unboxed this, I told you I was going to let you know how well this works. I can go all day with this before it even touches the battery in the phone. This is worth every penny. Buy one of these for $17 for your Pixel. But I got to thinking about it, and back in the day I had an iPhone 4S, and the one thing I remember about it was the fact that anything that you installed on it just seemed to work really pretty well. But back then, iPhones weren't like they are now. They were still kind of glitchy, and a lot of the apps that you could get for the iPhone weren't as good as the ones for the Android. So I switched over to Android, and I've been using it ever since. And I've really enjoyed Android. I'm looking forward to the update from Pie into what is now going to be referred to as Android 10. My Pixel should get that, and I don't know about my S8 Plus. It may or may not get that, but I'll check. They're both running Pi right now, no problem. So I've got those two phones to keep up on Android, which is good, because I still like Android. But I really thought I should dip my toe back into the iPhone iOS. Because, you know, if I do reviews and stuff, it's good to have both sides. You know, if you like Android or if you like Apple. But if you're somebody that, like me, who likes tech, I don't pick a side. It's like, if I buy a vehicle, I don't strictly buy Fords or Chevys. I buy what I like and what I want and can afford. So I got to thinking, I can't afford an iPhone. I can't afford a brand new Android phone, to be honest with you. The high-end ones, anyway. There's a lot of good budget and low-end Androids, but the problem with the budget and the low-end Androids is they never get the updates. One of the good things about iPhones is even the older phones get a lot of the updates for a long time. So I bought that Xeon M, which was a very big, high, oh good, my clock's going to go off. Always, every time I make a video, it's a clock or the guys mowing the grass come by. Always. No matter what time I try to make a video, something makes noise. Nothing I can do about it, it's just the way my luck seems to run. And yes, it's high noon, in case you couldn't tell by the 12 bangs of the clock. Anyway, they don't always get the updated to the Android thing. So I got to thinking, I got that Xeon M, which was a great phone at a great price with a lot of features that still was relevant 2 years later. The problem is, iPhones, depending on when you get them, really are kind of boring, in my opinion. The older iPhones were much better. The iPhone 4S was built out of aluminum. Was just a great design, looked at it, and I was kind of interested in that. So I was looking at an iPhone 5 or 5S. They had the 5C, which is the plastic back one, but that just didn't get very good reviews, and the camera was really bad. Then the iPhone 6 came out, and that's when they changed to a bigger format, more like an Android. But between those two, they came out with one called the iPhone SE. What that basically is, an iPhone C and an iPhone 5 body. And this phone gets great reviews. Now, mind you, it's 3.5 years old now. And I got to looking, and sure enough, they're really pretty reasonably priced. So I found one, and not only did I find one, I found one in the space gray, the color I wanted, and it's the 64 gig version. Supposedly when I got it, it was in B condition. It's actually mint. I count 2 scratches, and they are so faint I didn't even see them for the first couple hours on the screen, but when I really looked at it, I found 2 very light scratches. Nothing else wrong with this phone. I mean, it literally looks like it's brand new. So I picked up this. Now, I've got a case on the back of this. I'm going to show you how good this phone looks, though. But I always tell you guys, buy a case for your phone, especially when you buy something and it's in mint condition and you want to keep it that way. Look at that. Now, there'll be some fingerprints on it because I just touched it, but look at how perfect that screen is. I kid you not. Amazing. Cheap TPU case, but a good one because it wraps around the front a little bit. Oh, by the way, the build quality. All aluminum. And it's got the round power volume. Got your switch for your on and off for alarms. Beautiful phone. Beautiful phone. And of course I got the 64 gig version. Put that back on there. And as you can see, it gives you a nice little lip. So if you happen to go face down, it's not going to scratch the front of it. And here's the interesting thing. Just goes to show you how phones have changed. Look at the size of that. That is a 4-inch display. This is the Pixel, which is not quite as old as this one, but close to it. But look at the size difference. That's how small phones used to be. I have to tell you something. As much as I love this Pixel, I am in absolute love with the size. There's something about this smaller form factor, the way it fits in my hand. I just love it. I love the aluminum build. I am absolutely in love with this phone. Now, man, I got a really nice one. You can find these online. They just sold off the last of these on the Apple site. They blew off the last of the SEs. So there's a lot of these floating around to buy right now. I got the 64 gig with a space gray, and it's beautiful. The build quality, hands down, probably the nicest phone I've had. And that form factor being small does not bother me at all. Everybody said, oh, you won't be able to watch videos on it. And another thing that people said, the speaker's not very good down here at the bottom. I'm here to tell you, I watched videos on this on YouTube. The volume on the speaker is perfectly fine. Signal quality, I'm getting LTE coverage. It says right on it, LTE. And I, of course, run off the T-Mobile with my Mint SIM. Love this phone. So, I pick up this iPhone. I'm going to dip my toe into the iOS. So far, I remember it working good, but it's so smooth on this phone. Every app I've installed so far has run perfectly. It's frightening how well it's running. I can kind of now see why people get into the whole Apple thing. The other thing is I'm going to do a camera review on it. It's got a pretty decent camera on the back. The front camera is not that good. It's only a 2 megapixel on the front. But I'm going to try some stuff with the camera. I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to take some photographs. Outside in bright light, I'm sure this is going to take gorgeous pictures. Even the cheapest cell phone can take a fairly good picture outside in the sunlight. In the low light, this probably isn't going to do as good as a lot of the newer iPhones. But it should still do fairly well. But I'm going to do some videos and some tests on it. I'm going to let you know what I think about the iOS. Right now, I've got nothing, and I mean nothing bad to say about iOS. Now, here's the interesting part, and this is why I got this particular phone. The SC will be getting iOS 13 in September of 2019. Right now, it is running iOS 12.3 or 12.2, something like that, and it runs smoothly. Now think about this for a minute. This is a 3-year-old phone that's still getting updates and will get the newest update in September of operating system. You would not find there's very few Android phones that will do that. The Pixels and some of the other ones will get some of those. Some of the Samsungs, the higher-end ones, will get a couple of those in there. But to actually have the same iOS system of a $1,000 iPhone on this SE, iPhone SE, is the same operating system, minus a few of the things that it can't do that the other one does, but it's still the same operating system, is amazing. And I'm very surprised at how well I transferred over here. I thought being on Android for that long would make it almost, not impossible, but there'd be a bit of a learning curve. I had the iOS up and running. I was downloading my apps. It took me a minute to kind of figure out how you do some of the stuff, adjust some of the stuff, add some email accounts, but a couple of quick videos on YouTube showing you how to do stuff, and it's been seamless. It really has been a seamless transfer, but it runs like butter. I am absolutely taken aback how nice iOS is now. Back when I had the iPhone 4S, remember, that was a long time ago. Things were different, just like Android phones back then were complete trash. It's aged, it's gotten better. And this phone, this just looks like an iPhone 4S. It's almost identical to it, but it's a little bit different. But the build quality on this phone, and the fact that you can get this phone for, if you look online, you can buy one of these with a 64 gig for less than $100 if you look around. Think about that. You can buy a $100 iPhone that's running the brand new iOS. And that's pretty good. And the size. Everybody likes big phones, but that's not the way it used to be. They used to be smaller. And I gotta tell you, I'm really kind of digging the smaller form factor. The build quality, the size, and the iOS, all are great. They're all working for me. I'm not saying I'm giving up Android. I mean, I got a Pixel that will probably get the next update, and I also got a Samsung that I'm running, so I'm always going to keep Android because I like Android, but this is pretty nice. So we'll do some camera reviews, and when it gets the update to the iOS 13, I'll let you know how it runs. So far, I'm very happy. I think this only has like 2 gigs of RAM, but it runs better than some of the budget smartphones you get now. They have 2 gigs of RAM, some of them have 3, but they're glitchy. A lot of the cheaper Android phones are. This thing, it's running like a brand new phone, literally. So anyway, that's what's going up. So I'm going to try out some OS for a little while, iOS. I'm going to give you my opinion about it. Like with everything I always tell you, do not buy a $1,000 phone. You don't buy into the hype. We don't have to do that anymore. There are so many good used phones and budget mid-price phones now that you can buy a phone for $300 to $500 that has top-of-the-line specs that most people will buy. That extra couple $100 you're paying gets you nothing but a fancy name. And you don't need a giant phone. This is prime example that you don't. The display on this is nothing fancy. There's nothing amazing about this. I've had no issues with this. People said, oh, it's not a great display. Yeah, it's not a great display in today's version, but it still holds up perfectly fine. Perfectly viewable, perfectly good for memory. It does everything I want. The Wi-Fi, the signal strength. This phone, for what I paid, is better than some of the phones I bought for $300, $400. So we'll do a little iOS test. We'll test some cameras. We'll see about the update. And we'll see how it goes. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're looking forward to it. I am. So if you see me kind of getting a little fanboyish about it on Facebook, if you follow me, I like to post a lot of pictures. I'm going to start taking some pictures today here and seeing how the camera holds up. So that'll probably be my next video. We'll see, unless something else pops up. But all I can say is, look around, people. We don't have to spend $1,000 for phones. We can get phones that still got the latest version of either Android or iOS, and we can save a lot of money. And always buy a case for your phone. I have a Samsung S8 Plus that has a crack on the front and the back, and it's not because I don't have a case on it. I waited a week for the case to get here when I bought the phone, and between the time I got that phone and the time the case got there, I dropped it twice. I had this case a day before the phone showed up. Put a case in your phone. Alright, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.